Admin is not work in this business. Doing admin work, putting folders together is not work. And yes, we do talk about this a lot, but honestly, this is a number one issue that we run into.
Continually doing research on what you're going to need for this client that you've not even spoken to yet, because you've already trying to predetermine what they need based on their age and their health, or their age at least. Now you're doing research on stuff that you may never actually use. For those of you who are watching, I want to let you know that Adam Steffen is the genius. He's the genius of this podcast. He's the genius of this episode, and the Life Insurance Academy is blown up because of him. Here's an amazing stat that he just shared with us today. Guys, last month we had 62,000 people that watched our channel. 62,000. We had 1,300 brand new subscribers in the last 28 days.
Sick.
It's Chris. It's off the chain.
I know it's
but guess how many people who watched last month out of those 62,000 that were not subscribed?
3.
Dude, 64% of the people who watched our channel last month were not subscribed. Wow. 64%. Can you believe that? If you watch these videos and find any value in them at all, stop right now, go to the bottom, hit that subscribe button. Not only hit the subscribe button, but would you share this out to some people that you know that we could help that may also find value from this and help us share the love? We got an amazing episode, but we want to see you subscribe first. Did you do it? Subscribe. Let's go. All right, let's jump into this episode. It's a good one.
Welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. You like that move?
What was
it's
that?
with Roger and I.
What was that?
We are dropping dimes, guys, like John Stockton, Steve Nash. Who else is a good point guard?
All the people under 30 don't even know who you are.
Jason Kidd.
Whoa.
Nice. You went.
Look, should I do this?
That's good. Yes, it makes you look smarter, guys. Just tip when you move your glasses up a little bit.
Okay, let's do it.
Look at that. You don't even need them.
All right, let's
mine
go.
are required. All right. We've got some fun stuff for you guys today. We are talking about life insurance landmines to avoid when you're a new agent. I don't know if we're going to call it that, but we'll see. But the biggest insurance sales mistakes that new agents make. We've got 3 of them, and we're trying to save your life, guys. That's all this episode is about. We're trying to save.
We're saving lives out here.
Your insurance sales.
We're pulling cats from trees and saving lives.
That's right.
That's what we're doing out here.
That's right. So we're
insurance trees.
We've got some stuff for you guys. We've got three important landmines to avoid, and we're just asking you to stop. Just stop it. Just please,
Chris,
help me help you.
Chris, what's this about, man?
Help you.
What's this about? This is about coaching calls we get involved in
It
all
really
the time.
Yeah, and these are the common things that we end up talking about on our coaching calls.
All the time.
Yeah.
So I asked Chris, I said, Chris, what are some of the things you're coaching on lately? What are some of the things that you've been having coaching sessions on lately? So, man, it all comes down to like 2 or 3 things.
Yeah. This would be our, like, if this were Family Feud survey says.
Family Feud survey says.
Yes.
This would be the one that gets like 28 points?
Yes, the
28
first
points.
answer. Yeah. And the first one, are you ready? Okay. Is lying to yourself.
Lying to yourself.
Ding, 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 ding.
Are you saying they're all liars, Chris?
Not intentionally. Just like our clients aren't all liars. Like when you talk to them about their
What
health.
does that
and
mean? We just said everybody was a liar.
I know. Like
we don't want to alienate you because we want you to listen.
Please don't
and
hang
learn
up.
how to stop lying.
Please don't hang up.
Please don't hang up.
Please stay with us. We've got stuff.
I know. It's good stuff too.
But most of the time when we're talking to agents, the very first thing that is uncovered is a lack of activity. But they feel like
it's disguised in what?
Busyness.
Busyness.
That's what it is.
And I know you guys have heard us say this on the podcast before. How many times have we said this, man? Like sometimes we feel like we're on repeat.
Probably 3. Out of our years of doing this, I think we've said it 3 times.
We've only ever said it 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
I feel like we say it 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Busyness.
But
busy work.
Okay, let's talk about the coaching. And this is why we wanted to share this with you guys today. Because we have events where people show up and we do these coaching sessions where it's dialing from like Monday 9 to 9, Tuesday 9 to 9, Wednesday 9 to 9, and then we're done, right? So we'll cut out, for us, we're done, and then we go back to our regular lives, right?
Yes.
And everybody who's in that.
Do you have a regular life?
I don't.
I thought you were always in uniform.
I kind of am, right? No. And every time we come out of those sessions, most people say, I thought I was working before.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Here's what's also funny. We do these live training boot camps, these telesale training
If you're
boot camps.
interested in it, throw it in the chat.
Yeah.
We'd love to.
We can have you in there.
We can do it.
But we do these live training boot camps. And we invite people to join us for a pre-meeting Zoom meetup, a pre-training Zoom meetup.
Yeah.
Right? It's all the things you need to do to get ready so you can be successful during the actual boot camp. And it's probably a list of 10 things we want so that you can be ready when you show up. Invariably.
I'm getting emotional.
Invariably. How many people show up and have all those things done when they show up?
A few. But most, I just think naturally we tend to look for shortcuts, and
even though someone has given you very specific directions, very specific instructions, I'm still going to try to circumvent it and do it a way that seems easier to me.
Yeah,
the insurance expert, the insurance expert, you're going to figure out the way. So you're spending money as an insurance expert to do it your way in someone else's training.
That's a challenge.
I mean, that's really what they're saying.
Yeah.
The only part about that's not correct is they're not an insurance expert yet.
If you are willing to just test us on this, okay? If you're doing telesales, 50 to 100 leads for 3 days and make 150 to 200 dials for 3 days. And you can put it in the chat what your production was or what your activity was, what your results were. If you're willing to do that, I'm going to put this out there, Roger. If you're willing to do that and put it in
offering free time. Oh, you are, aren't you?
If you'll put it in there, I will respond to your post in the YouTube channel. Okay? I'll make a recommendation or congratulations or whatever. I'll be happy to do that. So, inside of the YouTube channel, all right? And I would love to hear from you guys.
Chris, do you know that you're going to have to keep coming back to this episode for the rest of your life? You got to check on it weekly now because of what you just committed to.
I will do.
Adam's wondering how you're going to manage this.
What do we say? Up to June 1st? I will do it. I will check it up to June 1st.
The problem is that they're listening to it, and it's 2026. It's 2026.
No, Roger, it's 2045.
Oh my gosh.
2045. People are listening.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so commit to that. Just 9 to 9, get DoorDashes, commit to dialing 150 to 200 dials, 50 to 100 leads, and just tell us what the results were. I
150 to $200. Are you talking about triple dialing? Is that one?
Yeah, we'll do.
You're counting a triple dial as one.
If they will just do 150 dials.
If they'll just do that.
Yes.
But if they triple dial them, you're getting 450 dials.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Especially if you have a dialer.
Yeah, if you have a dialer.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have a dialer, and they're doing...
Yeah. You give me 150 to 200.
That's a lot of touching your iPhone.
You can do it. I know people who do it.
Yes.
I just want something. Help me help you. Help me help you. Okay? So that's the first thing. Stop. And when I say lying to yourself, I know that's harsh. We're just having some fun here. That's why you guys listen, right? But we are having
I like the little smile at the end. Looking right at the camera.
But we have people who come up to us at every event and they will say, I thought I was working before.
Yeah.
It happens every time.
Every time.
So
Well, it's funny because we have these interviews and we interview top level people that we are winning at a high level, and we'll go through about what their activity is, and then we'll have people in the YouTube comments doubt that they actually can possibly call that many people.
Yeah,
they go, "That's impossible. How do you call thousands of people in a month? There's no way that's possible."
I dare you to try it.
In their perspective and paradigm, though, Chris, it's not.
Yeah, because they're assuming they're talking to all those people in one day.
In their perspective, they've never seen it done. Mm-hmm. They only know of the way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
And they don't know of another way to maximize that opportunity.
We have $600,000-$700,000 producers that we are in a relationship with, that we work with, who are producing that level because they are dialing and having that many conversations on a regular basis. There's no other way to do it. There's not.
Yeah.
So surprise yourself. And they would tell you that they're still learning their sales skills. I think we have some people who would say, I haven't really focused. I've just focused on activity. And they've gotten the applications just because they did the work. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people fall into it and then go,
I need to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing. The other reason we wanted to have this conversation and chat with you guys about these 3 landmines to avoid is because I do coaching calls with teams, and there are teams that will have conversations and nobody is doing any activity, but they have a lot of questions and theories.
You love
about what they're going to run into. Okay. I'm just being really real and honest here. So I will say, I'm not coming back if we can't talk about activity. So if I come back and nobody's doing anything, then that's the end of the call. That's it. See ya. But since I've done that, we've had something to talk about every time, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't want to talk about theory. I want to talk about activity. And the only way to move forward in this business is to get your water in the boat, and we can figure
your water in the boat.
That's it. That's the truth, though, right?
Get your water in the boat.
Get your boat in the water. You might get water in the boat, but at least your boat's in the water, and we can fix that. We can fix water in the boat. I have no problem with that. But if we're looking at the boat, like, will it float?
I don't know. I think it needs another coat of paint.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to do that. So let's do the work, okay? So stop pretending you're working, and you may think you are, but admin is not work in this business. Doing admin work, putting folders together is not work. And yes, we do talk about this a lot, but honestly, this is a number one issue that we run into.
Continually doing research on what you're going to need for this client that you've not even spoken to yet,
the next thing.
Because you've already trying to predetermine what they need based on their age and their health, or their age at least. Now you're doing research on stuff that you may never actually use.
And you've brought up the second one that we run into in the survey, and it's checking on things.
Checking on things, man.
Yeah.
Oh, the checking on things.
Yeah.
How many agents do we talk to that goes and sits down with a client, and then, Chris, they get near the end, and then the client asks a few questions.
Right.
And the agent goes, oh, zoinks. So let me go check on some things for you, and I'll put this together, and I'll get back together with you.
Yes. Yeah.
How quick of a bailout answer is that?
Yeah.
And what do?
So they'll come back or try to come back and have a conversation with the client. Roger, I see this a lot in cross sales.
Referrals and cross sales.
Referrals and cross sales. That's a good way of putting it. And it's with folks who may have limited funds with leads, so they're trying to get started and get some business. And the other is when we talk about cross sales, there are folks who have books of business with like Medicare, and they aren't used to a true sales process. Like for us, we say we have a principled sales process, because when you sell life, you don't have to have it. You can't.
You can choose to say no. You don't have to buy it.
Yes.
It's not like Medicare. It's not like enrolling in a Medicare program.
Yes, you're not. You're not enrolling in a Medicare program. So I see this transition's a little challenging sometimes, and I think a lot of it comes from a lack of confidence in the sales process, but also a lack of confidence in understanding your products and underwriting. I think that can be a challenge for people sometimes. And there are tools now and resources.
Well, also not really understanding about narrowing a product niche down to meet a certain demographic of the market. They're thinking every client can qualify for every product. So when they sit down with a client, I mean, I potentially can sell you 58 different things. And because the list is so broad in your brain, you're never going to make it clear for the client.
Right.
And it's going to take you forever to narrow that down, to get it down to what the client really needs.
Yeah.
And you do need to make it 3 or 4. And what ends up happening? They go check on things. They put together some information, and they come back, and then the client says, well, since you've been gone, now I've talked to some other people, and now what about this? Now it's a completely different objection,
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with what you tried to check on the first time, or it maybe have something to do with it, but it's not all the information. Now they're asking you more questions, and now you're in the same zone again. Now I need to gather more information. I need to check on and get back with you. And what should have been a one-call close turns out to be more. And agents are driving 45 minutes, an hour each way.
Yeah.
And then they're going to check on some things and get back with you.
Yeah. Yeah, so eliminate the check on things. Let's eliminate that. But there are tools and resources that can help you with it. First, we have agents who use man, you just distracted me, Adam. No more jumping jacks in the background with your shirt off. That's just weird. It's the insurance toolkits. Thank you, Roger, for saying that. I appreciate it. Insurance toolkits, a great underwriting tool that allows you to put health conditions and prescriptions in there. Here's just a simple grid for you guys, just to take note of. Like, first, pick your common carrier. If it's like a company like American Amicable, great, something like that.
Mutual of Omaha.
Pull out that application, print it out. Just for giggles, print it out, okay?
Paper.
We're talking paper, Roger.
We're talking paper?
Just so you can look at it and get familiar with it. And then you can ask your clients those health questions. Just ask all the questions, just so you get practice doing it and they answer them, right? Or yes or no. Even if you have an idea, if you're new, you think, oh, I know which product. Just practice asking all the health questions, okay? From there, ask about their medications. And their medications don't lie. They tell you what's going on, because this is what happens. All right. Mrs. Jones, how's your health? I'm doing pretty good. Okay. All right. Are you on any medications? I take oxygen. I'm going to get on Slack. Chris, Mrs. Jones is doing really well, but she's on oxygen. That is what happens. But you don't know. You don't have the full picture. You don't know what's going on.
Actually, she's on oxygen. You probably don't need.
You do have the full picture.
It's narrowing down. Yeah. It's pretty. Yes. It's got it narrowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, but so we won't. If you use an example like she's on an inhaler,
gabapentin.
On gabapentin, which carrier? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know the full picture, and I think people get. I guess it's like deer hunting. Unfortunately, you know, you get buck fever, you get excited. Bam, you fire. You know, we're not hunting anything, but I think there's some excitement, nervousness, insecurity. That's why I like having a process of asking all the health questions, write down medication so you get the full picture, put them in insurance toolkits, and insurance toolkits will move you and guide you through that, because in most cases, these are a one-time close. And let's say it's a referral, Roger. Let's talk through that. Like,
well, I just had a question come in. Literally just texted.
Just now?
Right now.
Okay.
Right now.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
66. COPD. Smokes e-cigs. Should I run through American Amicable?
I don't know.
Any other carriers recommended?
Right. I don't know.
And now we have other agents actually trying to help that agent.
I would say ask the health questions, write down the medications.
Yeah.
Because we don't know. Yeah. But, I forgot to mention she's in an iron lung. Stop laughing. You're a sick man.
Chris, oh my gosh, man. We are compassionate over here. You just paint these pictures sometimes. And
They're so extreme.
Oh
right?
my gosh.
Yeah,
yes. I mean, yeah, but you didn't tell us.
You didn't tell us that.
That's
my point.
Us there was 2 oxygen tanks in the corner.
Yes.
With the nebulizer
we don't know.
Beside the couch.
We know as much as you do in that scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
And you didn't even share with me yet that she had a TIA 3 months ago.
Yes, absolutely.
And she had a
And that's my point, is what's not revealed, even to the agent.
Yes.
Even to the agent. So there are tools and resources that can help them. But Roger, I do want to ask you, because I want to hear how you think about it, because we've never really discussed this about.
This is the checking on things part.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Just do the process.
Do the process. So you have a referral.
Yeah.
And you have your new agent, okay? 35-year-old male, asked all the questions, know all the meds, healthy, has a mortgage, $250,000 mortgage. And, well, we'll say a couple.
The agent's 35?
No, the client. The client's a new agent what do you
client's
typically...
a new agent?
Yes.
Chris,
yes.
you're saying words. You're tripping me up.
No.
This is a trick question.
Forget the client's age.
Okay.
All right. So, or forget the agent's
was
age.
cracking up
Now you
over
guys
here
can do
today.
that. Forget the agent's age. The client is 35.
The client is 35.
Yeah, it's
male.
It's a referral. Okay.
We've asked all the health questions.
We asked all the health
Perfectly
questions.
healthy.
Perfectly healthy. Has a mortgage.
Yeah.
If you're talking to a new agent,
yeah.
What are you for them to be able to be effective in this conversation? What is your recommendation to that agent for that conversation?
They need to know why the guy needs insurance.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. He wants
Number
to protect
one.
the mortgage.
Well,
Very clear.
can't just be for the mortgage.
Okay.
Who's at stake?
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Well, you're saying of course.
Yeah.
But the new agent, it's
Yes.
not an of
Correct.
course thing.
Yes, you're right.
Right?
You're right. Yeah.
So we need to find out who that is.
Yeah.
How many
He's
kids?
engaged. He's engaged.
He's
We'll say that.
engaged.
Yeah.
He has children?
No kids.
children.
No kids.
But he's going to be moving into this house.
Yes.
Yes.
With he and his soon to
Does
be
he have a job?
spouse. Yep. He's doing all right.
He's doing all right. And what's so he wants insurance. How much coverage now are we talking about? What's the purpose of it?
Correct.
There's a lot to know here,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Now he's 35. So is this going to be something forever or is it a temporary insurance?
Right.
What's the full picture? Does he have coverage at work? Like
Right.
there's a lot to uncover here.
Right.
I don't know what you're fishing for, but I'm going down
I'm
through
just
my
asking you what you would
I'm going
advise
through
that
my entire
client.
process.
Right.
What
Yeah.
advise the client? I'm
Yeah.
going to get the agent to advise the client from this point
Oh, I guess I'm looking
with
for
this limited information.
I'm-
You didn't give me enough information. I'm not advising him yet.
Right. I guess what I'm looking for is like we don't want the agents to typically come do a check on things. We're avoiding the check on things.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a case where an agent needs to check on things? I guess it depends on their knowledge of the products and whatnot, right?
To me, it seems like a pretty straightforward case.
Right. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a complex case.
Correct.
Now, if the client makes a good amount of money, it could pivot from a term
Right.
to maybe an IUL conversation.
Right.
Okay, so we're building up some tax-free retirement planning through
Yes.
IUL, but the basic need is to cover the house,
Yes,
the cost, but it's got to be for somebody.
Right.
They're not even
yeah.
married yet. I mean,
Yeah.
what does he care? You see, if they're not married and
Yeah.
the house is not hers and he doesn't
Yeah.
have any kids,
Yeah.
the liability's not that great, right? So I need
And
to.
this is a referral. This isn't the lead, too.
I know.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a referral, but
Yeah.
did he request it, or was it just a friend who? And he's
yeah,
like,
there's a lot of factors.
yeah, is he
There's a
just
lot of
taking an
factors.
appointment because his aunt
Yeah.
said this
Yeah.
guy's
I
coming
asked
over?
the wrong question to the details guy.
You did.
I guess
but-
what I'm looking for is a grid for agents to work through. And if it's,
Now, if that
the
guy's
thing-
married
yeah,
and he's got 2 kids and they're both working,
there's a lot at stake.
I'm going for a term product. I'm
Right.
going to
A simplified issue term product.
Simplified
in most
issue term.
cases,
Yes,
most
most
cases,
cases, yeah.
for this new agent.
Yeah, 100%.
So I guess
in
what I-
95% of
Right.
the time, it's simplified issue term, and I'm
Right.
going to land on one of the top 2 or 3 carriers that I always go to.
Love it.
And I'm
Love it.
probably going to go with American Amicable or,
So
maybe a Mutual of Omaha.
That's our
or-
green. I
Yeah.
looked at it in terms of lights. That's our green light.
Yeah.
So you
Green
can be
for go. Let's go.
prepared. Let's go. Learn those applications.
Mm-hmm.
They're not hard, right? Now, if it is somebody who has the more acumen financially, resources acumen, then this is going to get into what I'd say is a yellow light, which is an IUL or
Potentially.
potentially, but the new agent is looking at it all as a yellow light. That's what I'm looking.
it's
Do
not
you see
all
what
the
I'm
yellow
saying?
light. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're looking at too many options and they don't know
Correct.
which one to land on.
Yeah.
They're uncertain about which option is the best
Correct.
option or which one is 90% of the time that's going to be a term.
Yes.
Simplified issue term.
Yeah.
20 or 30 year term.
Great.
That's
Great.
it. That's
So
pretty
senior-
straightforward.
Senior, in most cases, it's going to be a final expense product.
100%. Final exam.
Yes. So if you're running into those, know your 2 or 3 products well.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to check you don't need to check. These are one-sit closes where people are writing applications. And I think because of the lack of experience and the lack of competence, it's eating their confidence to move forward. So
Well, what it does is that a lack of competency and focus on solving the client's need in that first situation, that first call, is it wastes a lot of emotional and mental energy.
Yes. Yeah.
You're burning mental calories.
Right.
The client's burning mental and emotional calories. So are you as the agent. Some of you think, what the heck's an emotional or mental calorie?
I know.
Like, we only got so much time for things that take a lot of thought, thinking, questions. Like,
well, you can feel your brain when you study something new. Like,
that can only go on for so long.
much.
So if you burn all your currency, if you spend all your currency, you're going to have to call back. But guess what? The desire to do business with you doesn't go up every time you come back. It goes down. It goes down.
Yeah.
Now, in advanced market cases, which are a very small percentage of the cases that you're going to work, you're going to have to bring back some detailed reports, some financial analysis, some plans for retirement protection with annuities or IUL strategies or whole life strategies that are different than the norm. But 90% of the time, if you're dealing with someone 55, 60, 65, final expense, simplified issue, final expense. If you're dealing with someone who's younger family member and they've got family and they're trying to protect, this asset called their home, it's a simplified issue mortgage protection plan.
There you go.
I mean, it keeps things simple, keeps it on the rails.
Yeah. The other thing that where I hear agents making mistakes on checking on things, you might have your strategies, but I'm telling you what I see, okay, is insurance toolkits. If you're using that tool, it will list multiple carriers on this toolkit, okay? And
yes, it will, Chris.
I encourage you, Adam's going to put this in the channel on our pricing strategy podcast series that we did, because this will help you and change your life forever, okay? He'll put that up there. I don't know what I'm pointing at, but it's there because it's cool. It's technology. You want to check that out, because what I see sometimes is agents will give prices on 3 separate companies.
Not 3 separate plans.
Right.
They're now actually spreading it over 3 separate companies.
And why is that such a big deal?
Oh my gosh. That's a pain, because now you're not even landing on a plan to meet a need. Now you're landing on which kind of company, what benefits does this company have versus that company, and this one has living benefits for this, but it's different than those living benefits for that. And you're still not even getting to the need or even finding the price point to meet the need. Now you're doing pre-qualifiers to the pre-qualifier, and now you got to get answers to all those questions. What are you burning?
Calories.
You're not making it simple.
Yeah.
If you confuse, you lose.
Right.
You might think, well, I'm giving them choices. But when you give too many choices.
Yeah, well, that opens the door to a whole bunch of new questions.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
So, well, tell me about this carrier. Why is this company better than that company?
Because the one I'm recommending is Mutual of Omaha. Oh, my neighbor had Mutual of Omaha, and they hated it. Why are you recommending that?
Right.
Before you, as one of the options, and now you're all the way down into you're going down into a rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible situation. Like you've got to pick the plan. They're relying on you as the expert to say, out of all my companies, and they're all A-rated companies, this is what I'm recommending, and this is the company that's underwriting the whole thing, but here's how this plan works.
Yes.
It's not as important as to what company, it's how the plan works and how it takes care of your need.
And there's a pricing strategy when you give that plan, okay? So check out those podcasts. We're not going to deep dive into that, but that can lead to checking on things. Well, I'm not sure. I need to check on some of these carriers for you, and I'll come back with the recommendation.
Well, have you ever heard about Royal Arcanum?
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I have. What about, there's another company for SBLI. Have you heard about them?
Right.
Yeah. Now, I heard Foresters might also be good. Can you find me out some information on them?
Right.
Sure, Mr. Client. I can find you information out on 8 companies, and I'll get back to you.
You can recommend because you're the expert. You're the expert.
Yes.
And then finally, this is the last stop. We've talked about pretending you're working and stop checking on things. And we're having some fun with this, of course, but these are true conversations.
Is this the insecure salesman?
And stop asking for permission. Yes, it is. It is the insecure salesman. We talked about him a few times. It's when your voice goes up and your head turns just a little bit.
You sound like a Canadian?
Yes.
Canadians always talk up at the end?
Yeah. You're
Australians
the one Canadian
do
that
too?
never.
Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, they do.
Interesting. Maybe
they
it's
go
because
up.
of the
I don't know what it
rotation of
is.
the Earth down there.
I have no idea. I don't know. Well, I mean, Australians and Canadians, their inflection goes up at the end.
Yeah.
This is not about inflection going up at the end. This is about how you feel like you need to ask permission before you can do anything.
Yes. Yes. Now, Mr. Smith, do you mind grabbing a pen and paper real quick so I can ask you some questions?
Actually, I don't even think they say it like that, Chris. See, because you're so directive, you got the words mixed up with the tone, and it doesn't even work together.
Well, how's it work?
You'd be like, do you have a pen and paper that you could get maybe real quick?
That's it. You're right.
You're asking the question. You're not telling them to get it in a question voice.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying, do you have a pen? Because I would like to give you some information. Do you have one? No?
And
now what?
If people are hanging up on you, it's because of that.
Yeah.
They don't trust you. And
You're not authoritative.
Yes, authoritative. We say directive. It's both. People trust you because of authority and empathy. And the one thing we communicate and we teach with our agents is that trust is throughout the whole call, throughout the whole thing. Ooh. Throughout the whole thing. And I think sometimes agents believe they have it here.
Hey, Chris, is it throughout the whole thing?
It is throughout the whole thing. It's an accordion. I believe agents think they have it here and they take it for granted. And then when it's time to close,
They forget the trust.
they forget that they're in charge and that they're moving towards a close at that point. And then they start asking for permission.
Yeah.
So important to take action, start an application, gang. That's my recommendation. That changed everything for me when I started filling out applications. And I had a client tell me once I was doing that. I stopped asking for permission about, like, sometimes, like an example too, Roger, you get an objection and you do a rebuttal and you sit and you stare. I did that so long.
You're waiting for the next one.
Yeah. You tell me to move.
It's so awkward.
Can you keep? Yeah. And they're like, well, I just want to think about it. I gave you the rebuttal.
I gave you the rebuttal.
Why aren't you saying it
I
again?
want to buy the policy?
Why aren't you? Why did you do that? Right?
Yeah.
But then I learned you just keep moving forward and taking action, and you're filling out the application. And I had a client.
I like how you always go with your finger, like
Yes.
like
Yes, instead of an e-app.
Okay.
Yes. And the
Chris
client
is always using a pen with his app.
a client had said to me once, I guess we're doing this then, aren't we? And I said, yep, we're doing it. But if I didn't, he wouldn't have said that.
Correct.
Right? He would have stopped and thought about it more and said it to the.
I always like it, when you pull open the e-app and you say, okay, great. Now that I know that, I just need to get this started for you.
Yeah.
Now give me your date of birth again.
Yes, that's perfect.
Now,
that's
who's going to be listed as your beneficiary?
I have
And
your
then
address.
they sometimes you'll see the clients go, huh? And they realize it's happening.
Yeah.
And 8 times out of 10, they go, my birthday is February 26th, 1951.
And if you maintain that trust.
And it's for Melissa.
Yeah.
And then you move forward.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if you don't go, if you're always asking
No.
permission, man, half of those people are going to say, yeah, I want to think about it, or I got to ask another question.
On these coaching calls, I would much rather have that conversation. I would much rather, he didn't want to fill out the application. I would much rather work with that because, again,
They'll stop you.
Yeah.
Oh, if they're not ready to move forward, they will. What are you doing there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not ready to do this yet.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what do we need to talk about?
Yeah. Yeah.
What questions haven't I answered?
Great.
Perfect. Now you got something to work with.
Yes. You have something to work with. And, but most people will get to that point and bail out of it. They're bailing out of that close. And then they can't figure out why they're not getting sales.
Have you ever seen those funny videos on Facebook where they go jumping off cliffs and they get to the edge of the cliff, and right before they get to the edge of the
Yes.
cliff, they decided that they don't want to?
Yeah.
And then they fall and slam
Anyway.
and tumble down over the cliff and like land on the beach. Boom. At the bottom. Like
They were going anyways.
There's viral videos out there, guys, of people trying to bail out of things when it's too late and they cause more damage.
Yeah.
Right?
You
We got to
cause
be able
more
to get one of
damage.
those memes up here, Adam, of someone,
It's right here.
it's right here. But it happens all the time. Don't
Yeah.
bail out. You got to commit. A good golfer, if you go to bail out of your swing halfway through, what happens to the ball, Chris?
Every time I shoot.
What happens to the ball when you bail out of it halfway through?
What, you top it, you slice it, you do all sorts of weird stuff.
For most people, they're slicing it because they bail out. They give up. Their club face is still open. They don't commit. They're not committing to getting that through the swing. Adam knows what that's like. Adam always commits.
He always does. Beautiful.
Always commits.
We'll post it for you guys.
Beautiful
someday.
form. And people who commit to things get things done.
Yeah.
So stop lying to yourself.
Boom.
Stop saying I'm busy when you're not really busy. Monitor actually how much time you're actually putting in talking to people.
Yes.
Number 2, you got to stop checking on things that I'll get back to you.
Get it done.
90% of the time, your client needs 1 or 2 simple processes. Stick with that. Follow through. Ask all the health questions. Review their meds. Affordability. Apply for the app. Apply for the policy. Apply for the app.
Stop asking for permission.
And stop asking for permission. Yeah. Hello.
The insecure salesman. You don't need to be the insecure salesman.
Can we be finished the podcast now?
Yes.
Are you ready?
We would love to hear your guys' comments, thoughts, your journey. Again, hey, post your activity in the conversation. I'd love to.
There's people that are scared to death.
Let's
to post,
do it.
And then you get some people that'll post straight up lies. Lies.
We'd love to help. And if you want us
and
to
we may
do,
find some guests in there.
Yeah.
If we find some people
Rock
and they're
stars.
posting up some really solid numbers, and we can validate and verify that you are posting up solid numbers and you have a legit process,
boom.
we want to have you on the podcast.
I like that.
We want you on the podcast because you're out there
crushing it.
doing the things that new agents won't do, like lying to themselves, checking on things, and asking permission. You're actually committing to a process, being honest with yourself, and following through.
So post your comments. We'll have conversations, and do us a favor. Share the podcast. It's we're seeing a lot of people jump on. Hit that subscribe button. We want to make a difference in people's lives, and you get to help with that. So hit subscribe, share, comment. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll catch you on the next Life Insurance Academy
Podcast?
There you go.